Hi, and welcome to Yoga Gems. This is going to be a short warm-up routine that you can do before a longer yoga class or any time that you feel like you need a gentle stretch. Before you get started, make sure that you have an open space in which to practice. You may want a yoga mat, or you can simply use your floor. If you have a blanket, you can roll that up and have a seat on it. And if you have yoga blocks, please place those at the top of your mat. And if you don't have yoga blocks, that's okay. You can use a small stool, a stack of books, some soup cans, whatever you have handy in your home. Good. And then make sure your area is free of distractions, and we'll get started. Let's arrive here on our mats. Rock a little bit side to side. And feel your sitting bones beneath you, rocking left and right from one side of your pelvis to the other. And then come to settle right between those two sitting bones, the bottom edges of your pelvis, and sit up nice and tall. We'll take a couple shoulder rolls back. Good. And then let your hands rest on your lap, whether they're palms facing down or palms facing up, your choice today. Let's drop the chin down toward the chest, and then roll the right ear over toward the right shoulder. And come back down through center. And roll the left ear over the left shoulder. And come back down to center, chin to chest. One more time over to the right. And you can stay with this little half circle, or you can continue making a full circle, tipping your chin up toward the ceiling and taking it all the way around. So take another revolution or go side to side a couple more times. And then we'll switch directions. If you're making those big circles, just stretching out a little bit more through the neck. Good. And then when your head comes back down to center, let it stay there for just a moment and bring your hands together in front of your heart. Pressing palms together, thumbs there at the center of your chest. Take a moment for gratitude. Whatever that is for you in this moment, whether it's making it to the mat for a short practice, or for your health, or for anything that you feel grateful for. Good. And then release your hands back down to your lap. Let's leave the eyes closed, but bring the chin up level to the floor. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall again. Relax a little bit through the hips. And just begin to tune into your breath. Without trying to change it, just notice the inhales and the exhales. And notice where you feel the breath, in the nose, in the throat, maybe into the chest. Nice, smooth rhythm here. And let's begin to deepen the breath. As you inhale, draw it down a little bit deeper than the chest, aiming toward the belly. You may feel the belly puff up like a balloon, and feel the chest and the rib cage expand. And as you exhale, feel the belly draw in back toward the spine and feel those ribs knit back together. Take a couple more deep breaths like that. And on this next exhale, let everything go. Nice big exhale. And then take your fingertips down to the mat on either side of you. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up above until your fingertips touch. And then as you exhale, press your hands down. Now the palms are facing the floor, and we're going to press the air all the way down. Fingertips come to the ground. Inhale, reach all the way up. And exhale, press the air down. And begin to move here with your breath. Just matching movement and the breath. Letting your breath be your guide. And by moving breath and body together, we bring ourselves into the present moment. We cultivate that presence. Good. We're going to take one more full round of breath in and out. Nice and slow, no rush here. Big breath in all the way up to the top. Exhale slowly all the way back down to the mat. Good. You can leave the eyes closed or you can flutter them open. And inhale, reach the arms all the way up again. Leave them all the way up there at the top. We're going to take the right hand down to the floor and we're going to lift up toward the ceiling with the left. Really reach through those fingers and then take a side bend. Soften the right elbow and bring the shoulder down away from the ear. Reach all the way out through those left fingertips and reach down through the left hip so that you feel an opening all along the left side of your body. One more breath here. Exhale. Inhale, that right hand comes all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's do the other side. Inhale, reach all the way up. And this time, take the left hand down to the floor. Lift up through the right. Let's pause here for a moment, really stretching, pressing down through that right hip, making space. And then bend the left elbow and side bend. Good, reach out through those fingertips and take the head wherever it's comfortable, whether that's straight ahead, options looking down toward the bottom hand, or even lifting your gaze, looking up past the elbow. One more breath here, big inhale, soft exhale. Inhale, both arms come up to the top, fingertips touch. Exhale, hands down to your heart. Let's take some twists now. Inhale, reach all the way up. We're going to rotate from the belly button toward the right. That right hand comes down behind you. The left hand can stop right here at the center of your lap. Or if you've got a little bit more twist, you might take the hand over to the right knee. Sit up nice and tall. And allow the upper torso to rotate. Take a look over toward the right side of the room and maybe even take your gaze back over the right shoulder. And then notice where you can soften. Are you holding tension anywhere? Whether it's in your hips or in your chest, in the shoulders. On your next inhale, reach both arms back up to the center. Exhale, hands come down to your heart, and we'll twist in the opposite direction. Inhale, sweep up, and rotate over to the left. Left fingertips behind, right hand across. Roll those shoulders back a little bit as you sit tall, keeping the shoulders centered right over the hips. You can take a peek out to the right or the left side of the room, or maybe even peek back behind that left shoulder. Notice any areas of tightness, any areas where you may be holding tension, and see if you can soften there just a little bit. Your next in-breath brings you back up through center. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good. Let's clasp the hands now, and we'll begin rolling out the wrists, making some figure eights or infinity symbols here. And see if you can see the path that you're tracing with your hands. Good. Now pause and see if you can reverse that path. It's a little yoga for your brain. Good. Take the right hand forward and then just gently press the fingers and the palm back. A little stretch for the wrist. And fingertips down. Left hand now, fingertips up. and fingertips down. And then let's shake out the hands. Good. Bring the arms up to goal posts or cactus arms. Spread those fingers nice and wide apart. Sit up tall. Inhale, reach the elbows back a little bit further as you squeeze shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, we're going to round the back and bring the forearms toward one another. Inhale, lift up. Heart begins to lift, but don't let those shoulders creep up. Soften them down. Exhale, round. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. 1 more. Open. Exhale, close. Good. Come back up to your cactus arms. Take your hands back behind you. Hands plant down to the floor. If having your fingertips facing forward causes you any wrist discomfort, feel free to turn the hands around backwards, fingertips facing away from you, or even out to the side. So walking back to your comfort, a little bit more opening for the heart. Squeeze shoulder blades together as you press the belly forward. Lift the heart, tip the chin up. Little easy, gentle back bend. Undoing all that hunching we do, sitting over our computers and looking down at our phones. Good. And then come back up to center. Take the fingertips out in front of you. Walk them forward. Let's stay on fingertips here and just sway a little bit side to side. And then walk those fingertips back up. And let's take the hands back one more time to that back bend. Belly forward, squeeze shoulder blades together, lift the heart, lift the chin, maybe even open the mouth slightly, taking the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Maybe a breath in through the mouth and a breath out. And walk your hands back up to neutral. And let's switch the way that we have our legs crossed. So awkward way in front. Take your fingertips forward again. Walk them forward. Let the head hang and sway side to side. Good. And then walk the hands back in. And we'll meet in all fours or table pose. If you have a blanket underneath you, you can unfold it a little bit and use it as cushioning for the knees, or you can simply set it aside. So as you come into table pose, stack the shoulders directly over the hands and take a look down at your hands. Spread the fingertips nice and wide apart, press into the thumbs, the first fingers, the middle fingers, the ring fingers, and the pinky fingers. Inhale, bring your gaze forward and lift your tailbone. Let your belly drop down a little bit for cow pose. Again, a little bit of a back bend here. And as you exhale, we'll round into cat pose, tucking the tailbone, bringing the chin down toward the chest, looking back toward the thighs, and we're really pressing strong here into the hands. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Moving with your breath. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Let's do one more round. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then come back to neutral. And take your right foot and let's step it forward right between the hands. You're going to take the hands and walk them up the front thigh and bring hands to your hips. So we're looking for just sort of a right angle here, making sure that the knee isn't way in front of the toes. So if it is, walk that right foot forward. Press down through the back shin. And as we hold on to the hips here, imagine that you can hike up your hips a little bit higher. So we're going to lift them up and we tighten up the back side. Good. Take your arms, reach them all the way up. Pressing down through that back shin. Maybe we come forward just a little bit. Increasing the stretch here, the front part of the left hip. Breathing. Options for the arms, you can always have them at cactus arms, and you can always have hands at heart center or even the hip. That back foot can stay flat, or you can curl the toes onto the mat, your preference. One more breath here. And then bring the hands down on either side of the front foot and step that front foot back. And we're going to step the left foot forward and do the same thing on the other side. Walk your way up to that low lunge, hands to your hips, noticing your pelvis. We're bringing it into a neutral position, tightening up that right glute, adding the arms. Your option, straight up, cactus arms, heart center, hands at hips. Big breath in, soft breath out. One more time. Maybe coming forward just a little bit. And exhale. Bring both hands down and step that left foot back. Good. Now we're going to walk the hands forward a little bit. And we're going to come into a modified plank. So shoulders come right over the wrists. We don't want to let the belly sag here, and we don't want the bum up into the air. We want one long straight line all the way from the knees out through the top of the head. Reach the heart forward, bring your gaze forward a little bit. Don't bring your head down to look between your thumbs. Keep it forward so we keep the spine long. Good. Keeping your elbows in toward your side. Slowly bend the elbows, come down to your belly. Now, if your thumbs have made it up here underneath your shoulders, slide them back so they're down by the rib cage. Press into the tops of the feet, and let's find a baby cobra. Just lifting up head and shoulders, and exhale back down. Inhale up again, long through the neck. Exhale back down. One more time. Inhale up and exhale down. Press into your hands. Good. Come back up to that table pose, and then we'll find child's pose, sinking the hips down toward the heels and walking the hands forward, letting the forehead come down to the mat. And if the forehead doesn't reach the mat, you can bend at the elbows and stack 1 or 2 fists underneath. Alternatively, if you've got some knee issues like I do, then bring a towel or a blanket right behind your knee creases. Good. And then as you sit down, that offers you a little bit of support. Let's take one more breath here in child's pose. Exhale, release. Come all the way back up to all fours. And let's come back into our modified plank. Good. Heart reaches forward and we lower slowly down to the mat. Slide your forearms forward, coming into Sphinx pose. Elbows stay quite close, right underneath the shoulders. Press down through those forearms and imagine you're dragging the elbows back as the heart comes forward, like a regal sphinx here. You may even bring a mysterious little smile to your face. Good. Release those elbows out to the side. Hands back by your rib cage. Press back into child's pose. All the way back. Big breath in and soft breath out. Come all the way back up to table pose. And let's curl the toes under. And we're going to lift up the knees and we're going to bring the belly all the way back to the thighs. So there's quite a big bend here in the knees. Take a peek at your screen and notice that my head is hanging really low. Give it a little shake. And the hips reach really high. This is like our little squished downward facing dog. And then we might begin to pedal the feet left and right. So as you straighten one leg and reach the heel down toward the mat, the other knee stays bent. And then you slowly switch sides. So just know that those heels may or may not ever touch the mat, and that's okay. Our goal isn't to touch the heel to the mat, but to stretch the back of the legs. And then let's settle the heels. Come up to your tiptoes for a moment. Exhale, sink the heels down. One more time. Exhale, sink down. Pressing through all 10 fingers. Hold here in down dog for 3 breaths. And then we'll drop our knees down onto the mat. Take the knees nice and wide here. Bring the big toes toward one another. They may even touch. If you need the blanket behind your knees, go ahead and place it there now. And then sink the heels back, or the hips back. Come back into that child's pose, this time with wide legs, allowing the heart to sink down right there between the legs. Taking a moment here to check in with how your body feels. Hopefully a little bit looser, a little lighter, ready for whatever comes next. And then begin to walk those hands back in. We'll take the knees back in and we'll have a seat. Have a seat on your mat. Big breath in all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands come down to your heart and bow your chin down toward your chest. And one more time, let's take a moment for gratitude. And it can be that same thing that you're thankful for, or maybe something else. I thank you for joining me in this gentle stretch. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.